Those Who Wish Me Dead is from director Taylor Sheridan, who wrote Sicario, co-created Yellowstone, and directed Wind River. It's based on the book by Michael Corita, who also wrote the screenplay along with Charles Leavitt and Sheridan himself. It stars Angelina Jolie as a firefighter who has to protect a teenage boy who has evidence against a mob boss, and because of this, people want to kill him. Sorry, wish him dead. I watched this movie a few weeks ago on HBO Max, and at the time of me writing this, it is no longer in theaters near me. It didn't stay there too long, which sucks because, while it's nothing too special, it does not deserve to bomb. It's a nice action thriller. The story isn't exactly unpredictable, but it has enough thrills to make up for that. Angelina Jolie and the child actor Finn Little are very convincing in their performances. This isn't on the same level as Sicario or Wind River, but it's still very enjoyable. And I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's the kind of disposable action movie you watch, enjoy, and then forget about it come next year.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Hey, kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet.
I remember just before the pandemic, I was making plans to see this as it was to come out, I think, literally next week. Well, I've now reached the end of a year-long journey to do this very simple task. A Quiet Place 2 sees writer and director John Krasinski returning. It takes place right after the events of the first one, with the surviving members of the family forced to venture into the outside world. The original film was an excellent movie that used silence to a terrifying effect. In this one, the characters are less concerned about not making a sound. As a result, it's a lot less quiet and can't always recreate the feel of the original, but it still has enough suspense to make it a great thriller. It starts out on a high note, showing the beginning of the invasion, a sequence which reveals the beginning of the whole story without going so far as to reveal what the creatures are, because, of course, the less you know about a horror villain, the better. But at the same time, last year they put out a featurette promising that this movie would answer some of the questions that people had about the first one.
We answered all those questions that the audience was asking about day one, especially how did this all start?
And they did not. It's basically just one scene that doesn't explain anything viewers of the first one didn't already know. But it's still intense and very interesting. And for the remainder of the film, it expands a little upon the post-apocalyptic world. The creatures are frightening and the people aren't always much better. It's a bigger movie that's able to show much more of the creatures' excellent design. Yeah, showing the creatures less is scary because of your imagination, but since we all know how they look now, it doesn't really matter, I guess. And they still look really good. The movie's really intense, even if not as much as the first one. But one issue I have with it is its usage of jump scares. Yes, the first one used them too, but they were done better. In addition to often being done after long moments of silence, they at least felt earned because the audience knows that any sound whatsoever could spell disaster. Now it's not as quiet, they're not as effective. Particularly bad are scares that come in the middle of already intense and loud scenes. This is not as good as the original, but of course most sequels aren't, especially horror sequels. This is still among the best movies I've seen to come out this year so far.